Hey guys, so I'm going to be giving you 10 tips that I think would help a beginner player improve. Now if you're an advanced level player or an intermediate level player, you can probably skip this video. It's a lot of basics, but you never know. It could still benefit you and maybe you want to give it a quick watch as well. So tip number one is to never stop making villagers. Even if you have 80 villagers or 90 villagers, keep on pumping out those villagers. It's so important. It's so crucial. Maybe when you get to a point where you have 100 villagers and 20 trade caravans, then you can stop. But essentially, you want to continue making villagers until you have all your upgrades and you have a formidable army. Another quick tip that I can give you, and let me just showcase it right here. I have a setting which is located in settings, game. If you scroll down, you'll see immediately auto queue villagers at the game start, which is the one right here, and immediately auto train villagers on newly built town centers. I recommend you guys turn both of these on, and let me show you what it does. So as soon as this settlement is completed, villagers will automatically start queuing. Okay, so that's tip number one. Okay, so for tip number two, now that you built all these workers, you want to make sure that they're working and they're not slacking off. I use the following hotkeys to make sure that they're always working, which if I type in villagers here, and I scroll down, you can see I have find idle villager, which is my spacebar, and select all idle villagers, which is shift and space. A lot of players use this banner at the top right here, but I believe it's inefficient. So if I press space, it one by one goes through each villager and tells me which one is not working. If I press shift and space at the exact same time, it's going to select every single villager that's not working, and then I can task him to whatever I need. Okay, so that's tip number two. Alright guys, so tip number three is to use shift commands wherever possible. Shift commands will allow you to enact an action before the time has come. So what does that mean? It means if I gather these 4 villagers, and let's say I want to build a house right here, as soon as the house is built, I want them to jump onto wood. What I do is select them. I built the house like I normally do, and when I'm doing this, I press shift on my keyboard and I right click the tree so that they jump right onto the tree as soon as the house is built. Okay, so you can do this for multiple actions. Now you can also do this for military. So let's say I just want them to go around my TC. You press shift and you right click around your TC as many times as you want. Now this is very useful. Let's say that I want these Terma to go and raid my opponent, but I don't want to go straight through the middle or he's going to see me. So what should I do? I said right click on the sides of the map and then hold down the shift button and right click and go all the way through the sides, so that way he doesn't see me coming, right? So shift commands are great to use and very, very useful and handy. So the next tip that I'm going to give you guys is to always hotkey or control group your initial scout as soon as possible. So as soon as the game starts, I want to take this priest and I want to hotkey him or control group him to the number 1, which you can see right here. This allows me to keep good control over him while I'm busy doing other things. So let's say that I'm, gathering these chicken right here. If I want to go to my priest, I just click the number 1 2 times and it'll take me directly to the priest. And that way I can keep make sure that he's constantly working so I can get as much scouting as I possibly can in the early game. Alright, so another tip that I can give you guys, and even a lot of top players don't know about this, which is auto place your farms. Auto placing your farms are so important. It's so easy to do and it saves you time and it makes your farms more efficient. Normally a lot of players, they do this. They place their farms one at a time around their town center. And you guys see that I misclicked right here, right? This was a misclick. The other farms are okay, but it was number 1, I misclick. And the second thing is this takes time. The alternative and the better option is you prepare to make your farms. And instead of clicking here, you click in the middle of your TC, hold down the shift, and now you can see how fast you can put them down. And not only can you put them down fast, it comes out perfectly. You can also do this with your granary, which I just did right there. This is so useful to have, and it's such a nice quality of life feature that they put into the game. Alright guys, so for tip number 6, I recommend that whenever you move your army around the map, you should probably use attack move, almost in 80% of scenarios. Attack move is located right here on the bottom left of your UI, which is right there. Now, you can also hotkey this. But before I talk about the hotkey options, let's just talk about what it's good for. If I send my army here and I just right click like I normally do, if it encounters your opponent's army, your units are not going to fight. They're just going to run through them and they're going to take damage for free. However, if I click on attack move, You can see that this turns a little red icon right here, or a red indicator. This will attack the enemy as soon as they come in contact with him, or as soon as they see him. Now, you don't want to use this in every situation, and I went over this in my micro guide, which I posted a few days ago, but in most situations, I would say 80% or more, this is a very good, useful option to have. Now, I've hotkeyed mine to F. If I press F, it attacks moves. You can go into your settings menu, hotkeys, attack move, and you can hotkey this to whatever you want, but I highly suggest you start using it in your games. Alright guys, so this is a tip that I think can help more than just beginner players. I use it all the time. Now, not a lot of people are actually abusing this, but they definitely should. It's, let's say you're playing a game and you have a lot of food, but you don't have enough gold. What would you do? Obviously, the right thing to do is take your villagers, put them on gold. But the easier thing to do is build a market, which is located right here. Build that market. And now, if you want to balance your economy, all you have to do is sell food, which is located right here, for gold. But you see that the issue with this is I'm selling 100 food, but I'm only getting 57 gold back in return. So it's not optimal. It's only something that you should do, worst case scenario, if you have to balance your economy. Okay? Another thing to note is these rates, I think they're global. So meaning, if you make this, like let's say you sell all your food for gold, your opponent, when he tries to do it, he's going to get the shittier rate as well. So you want to actually probably do this before he does it, because gold is a very valuable resource. So if you sell all your food, your worthless food, which is, let's say you're in age 3 or 4 and you have tons of it, get all the gold you want, now he can't do the same thing. So use that to your advantage. Alright guys, so the next tip that I can give is try to play the stronger gods. Avoid the weaker gods for now until you guys get a good grasp of the fundamentals. If you can play the stronger gods, you can copy the strategies that are helping a lot of the top players win on the ladder, and you can focus on the fundamentals. Whereas if you're playing a weaker god, not only do you have to focus on working on the fundamentals, but you also have to worry about strategy. So I would suggest you leave the strategy for the top players, copy them, learn the fundamentals, and then from there on out, you can adapt and play whatever god you want. Just for a little while until you understand the fundamentals. And how I do it is I go to aom.gg, which is made by a friend of mine's. If you go to the top right here, it'll tell you where the statistics are. So if you go to gods, and you can analyze what are the strongest civs in the game. You can see that at the top right hand corner right here it says all. This is for all skill levels. And you can see Poseidon's doing pretty good, Loki's doing good, Odin's doing good. You can pick a civ from this list right here and you can just main them for a few weeks or get the hang of it and then move on to another civilization. If you're, let's say, a 1000 level Elo or 750 level Evil, you can click on your Elo level and you can see which civilizations are doing good for your Elo. Right? So just have a look at this, pick the best civs for now, grasp the fundamentals, and then move on from there. Alright, despite me saying learn the best gods, I also think that you guys should learn every god. Being able to know every god's strengths and weaknesses will allow you to play better against that specific god. So for example, if I know that, Uranus' strength is the fact that he has sky passages and he can traverse the map, it's very hard to raid him, so I wouldn't make a strategy primarily on raiding an Uranus player. And conversely, you can do that for all the different civilizations. You know their strengths, don't play into their strengths. You know their weaknesses, play into their weaknesses. I use this website. This is made by another friend of mine's. You guys can find build orders here. You guys can find a lot of helpful guides and a lot of strategies here. A lot of these were made by me as well. So you can have a look here, learn every god. You don't have to play them, but at least understand them. Alright guys, for my final tip, in my opinion, it's best to start with an aggressive strategy and then slowly, if you want to become a defensive player, do that later on. In order to become a good defensive player, you need to understand timings. You need to have a certain level of understanding of the game. You can't be defensive right off the bat because you don't know what you're defending against. So I would say just start off by being as aggressive as you want to be. Play different styles, first of all. I don't think it's just aggression, but aggression should definitely be the focal point. In its infancy, whenever a game is new, whenever you're learning, I think if you start with an aggressive god, you're going to be able to understand different timings and different windows a lot better than if you're just playing from a defensive standpoint. Once you understand the different strategies that aggressive gods have, then you can start playing whatever type of playstyle you want. But you need to understand the game, and I think aggressive civilizations allow for that far more than a defensive civilization. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you guys have any tips that you want to share with our beginner community as well. And yeah, take care. See you guys in the next one. Bye.